There was blood everywhere, the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and more bodies than I ever seen in my life. They were all naked and strung up like pigs in a slaughterhouse. They were emaciated and pale gray. Some looked as if they'd been there for months and some looked like they only just been strung up. My breath quickened as I slowly backed out of the flat, into the corridor. Suddenly, I heard the sound of someone laughing. It was an incredibly low pitch, almost sounded edited. I couldn't pinpoint where exactly it was coming from, but it was getting louder and louder, finally causing me to lose my nerve. I broke out into a sprint, making my way as fast as I could down the staircase. I could feel someone was right behind me as the laughing persisted. The stairs felt as if they would never end until, to my surprise, I ran into the old man from earlier. He grabbed my arm tightly and pulled me. "Follow me," he said in a hushed tone. I did without question. I was too panicked to answer as he led me quickly to his flat. When we arrived, he hastily locked the door behind him. "What the fuck was that?" I shouted out of breath. "Shh," the old man said, with his ear to the door. "Sit down," he whispered. I sat down on his sofa shaking. All my training, my years of experience seemed to just disappear. I didn't know what to do. "I'm sorry," the old man said, turning to face me. "It's my fault you're here." "What do you mean?" I whispered back. "In the one who called you." I was lost for words. I didn't understand what was happening. It all felt like a twisted nightmare. The old man slowly walked over and sat in a dusty armchair across from me, and he began to speak again. "I don't care if you believe this or not, so I'm gonna tell you anyway." He took a deep breath. "That thing up there, whatever it is, it ain't human. Every few months, it comes out and it feeds. I called you when it started happening again tonight, but I couldn't speak. Whatever it is, it knows your thoughts and senses you. If you try and leave, it will know." I was obviously terrified and confused at what he was saying. I thought to myself that maybe he was crazy. However, I'd been in the job long enough to know when someone was lying, and I could see in that man's eyes that he was telling the truth. I continued to sit in silence as he started to speak again. "It's always the same. Every few months it takes some of us into that room, and they never leave. The next morning some people come clean up after it, and just like that, flats are back up for rent. I only moved here 'cause the rent was cheap." He chuckled to himself. "Now I know why he's sighing. It knows to pick the ones people want, miss, as well. It's like it can read your mind. It gets in your head. You don't know why it's never picked me, but I do know that anyone who tries to leave or tries to find help ends up in that room. So, what the hell do we do?" I said, still panicked. Suddenly, the old man was interrupted by 3 loud knocks on the door. We sat staring at it, not moving as the doorknob started to rattle. "Don't move," the old man whispered. I couldn't move anyway. I was frozen. Whatever was on the other side of the door was getting more and more desperate to get in until the banging and the rattling ceased all at once. "Honey, please let me in," said a voice from behind the door. It was my wife's voice, as clear as day. What the hell was she doing here? "That's my wife," I said, standing up. "No, it's not. Do not let it in." I made my way to the door just to peer out of the peephole. There she was. She looked scared, and she was crying. She peered through at me with deep sadness in her eyes. "You see, me wife had been missing for 2 years. I just about given up hope, but there she was, as clear as day, begging me to let her in." The old man jumped up and grabbed me, desperately trying to stop me from opening the door, but I easily overpowered him. I knocked him back with my elbow and began to unlock the door. "Babe, get in here," I shouted as I unlocked the bolt and swung the door open. The old man was right.